Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
You didn't...
There are people like...
I think there are plenty of atheists who basically understand the approach of street epistemology, but see in their personality reasons that they can't be that patient and understanding.
Yeah.
And therefore they acknowledge that, but they also value SE for the people who are patient enough to practice it.
Right. Well, Aaron Ra is, I think, one of those people, a good person to look at as an example of a type of person that said, hey, wait, examined the method a little bit and said, and was like, whoa, this is clearly effective and it works. And he went out and tried to do it with Anthony.
Right, but he said, personally, I can't really do it the way that it's laid out.
I think that actually Anthony and Matt Dillahunty in particular have been influenced by the method.
But then if you watch the episode of Talk Heathen with Eric and Anthony, you can see that Eric likes being an asshole, and it seems like the guy who made this video has the same mentality, and that's okay, but that doesn't mean you have to diss the people who choose to be patient, do street epistemology, just because you don't feel you could apply it effectively.
Right.
That's how I feel like, that's what I feel like he's strawmanning right here, is like, oh, well, if I could, tear it down, then I get to continue to be an asshole. And there's room for both approaches.
It's like, dude, you don't need... Yeah, there's plenty of room for everything. Like, Dawkins says that, too.
Yeah.
He'll be like, yeah, there's... Some people respond to X, Y, or Z.
Well, and that's, I think, why atheists are proud to say we're not a religion. It's not like everyone has the same belief set or dogma about it. It's an answer to one question.
Yeah.
It's no to one extra question than most, monotheists.
Well, and as we were talking about a little bit earlier, street epistemology necessarily isn't about whether God exists or not. That's not necessarily the question we're asking people.
No.
And we're not asking people, we're not trying to deconvert people either, and we're not trying to make ourselves feel better in some way.
I don't think that people in a public place who might be attracted to someone set up doing street epistemology, what qualifies them as low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that criticism either.
It's people in public. If anything, it's the most honest, real sample and slice of humanity that you could really get.
Go to a public park, go to a public square, and you have people that come up to you. You have a little sign set up.
That Anthony hasn't encountered a variety of people.
What
with a variety of beliefs.
Bitch Slap Blogs here needs to do is actually go and watch from the beginning when Anthony started SE.
Started practicing SE.
Yeah, because then
he didn't start SE. He started
when he started practicing the method.
People and growing
and he used to go up to hardcore street preachers and stuff all the time. And that's not low-hanging fruit, man. These guys are out, the other guys out in the public
and he talked to the one college preacher guy, and then he talked to that older preacher guy.
He's talked to so many, religious leaders, it's off the hook. And so to criticize him for low-hanging fruit is just...
Well, and to call other practitioners of street epistemology his followers, it's like, SE is a community.
Yeah, exactly. The whole idea is to have a hive, Not you don't want a queen or king bee. We're a hive.
No.
Anthony's
pioneered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And spearheaded a lot of stuff. But
he's one of those. He's very approachable.
Yeah, and willing to help and guide and talk about his experiences in order to help others.
Well, you've worked with him directly, right?
I have worked with him directly, of course.
For some research that you did. I don't know. It's frustrating when you come across people that want to criticize and questioning others' beliefs that's what they want to do in the first place.
It feels like his gripe would be me complaining about teachers who are more effective at utilizing group work in their instruction. I haven't had a lot of success with that personally in my teaching. but I at least acknowledge that it's not ineffective, and I wouldn't criticize another teacher for using that method just because it works for them or they see it as effective in their instruction.
So you're a teacher. So what, in your experience, is direct criticism or epistemological questions are those better approach to ask?
What's been effective for me in my teaching is more like leading them to an answer through questions.
So the Socratic method is more effective.
It has been more effective for me in my teaching, yes. And I think it helps my students more abstractly conceptualize things rather than having a more rigid understanding or one example to link to a concept or an idea.
Well, and there's always the backfire effect too, right? Which is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
And especially when you're dealing with individuals. I think that's what street epistemology is for, individuals.
Well,
when you're dealing with people one-on-one.
For example,
okay,
when I taught academic English to students who wanted to be in a university was like the mission of the program. And I would have students in my program who would write in their paragraph, Allah, parentheses, peace be upon him, because they have to repeat that whole phrase in order to even mention him.
Yeah.
Having to try to explain to them that that's an academic it's an academic context, and therefore it's inappropriate to put that as evidence in your paper. It's academically dishonest to say that this is something because Allah, peace be upon him, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but, like, you know, how do you lead them to understand the fact that that's not evidence in this academic context?
When I watched,
then I want to apply that reasoning to
you haven't watched
reality.
This whole video yet. I've watched most of it. Maybe we'll pause.
Well, we can
pause now,
watching.
and we'll come back and make a few more comments. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Oh yeah. Okay, so we'll record.
Seems to be a bad target, because those are not the people who really need to have their minds changed. Those are not the people who are typically causing all of the harm.
American voters need their minds changed. Look at who's our fucking president.
Going after the ignorant because it's an easy win, not because it gets you any closer to an ultimate goal. Because most of the people I typically see these street epistemologists going after, at least in my opinion, they believe for social reasons, not for religious ones.
Wait, pause it for a second. Who believes in social... Oh, okay, so the people... So he's generalizing that the people, the interlocutors in the street epistemology videos have religious beliefs for only social and, like, cultural
I don't understand
reasons.
This whole idea where he thinks we're being biased with who we interview.
Well, I just don't think he's had a large enough sample of how much SC is actually out there.
Because I use it with
everyone. In order to make
everyone.
this assessment at all.
I use it with everyone I come in contact with. If they do something superstitious around me, if they say something superstitious, I instantly go into street epistemology. Instantly. And it works.
I think that's a good intuition. I mean...
It works.
I just feel like...
It starts conversations, at least.
I just feel like the person who made this video did not take a large enough sample of street epistemology to be able to make this criticism accurately.
Okay. All right, let's continue. We're at 3:52.
Profess to believe because they think it makes them look good to the neighbors. Because they think that that's what society expects them to do. Because they want to go along with the crowd. Because they want to be seen as socially acceptable. These people typically have very little idea what it is they're supposed to believe.
Okay.
Who are these people?
If you watch 6 videos, how can you say typically?
Well, I don't even understand. These people, there's street epistemologists all over the U.S., all over the world. There's people in France.
But Ryan, wouldn't you say that the interlocutors that are interviewed in street epistemology conversations, while they do acknowledge the fact that they are culturally connected to their certain belief, right?
Right.
That they were raised in it or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think they fall into this socially acceptable thing.
Yeah, no.
Because it was part of their culture and their development as a child.
Yeah.
That means that it's ingrained into their belief system. It's not them being conscious of the fact that they'll be rejected socially if they don't hold these beliefs at all. I've never seen that connection. While they acknowledge their cultural connection to it, their
it's a problem maybe when you're when you are maybe coming out of the belief.
I don't hear a lot of people being like, yeah, I believe in God because if I don't, people will think I'm bad. Because that would be the socially accepted argument, right?
Yeah.
That would be the rationale for having a religious belief because I need to be socially accepted,
I would say
right?
that in a certain sense there are like cultural Catholics and Jews perhaps that just follow their religion because their parents do.
But when you say that, they're holding on to beliefs and traditions because they want to have that cultural connection with their ancestors.
Yeah.
And they would acknowledge that.
Yeah. Yep.
If you had a conversation about how they choose between right and wrong, how much would be about their cultural and heritage choices versus thinking through their choices of what's right and wrong? Because if you're culturally Catholic, are you pro-choice? Are you pro-homosexuality and other forms of sexuality outside of heterosexuality?
Catholics are generally acceptive of homosexuals, and I think nowadays.
But it's still more cultural when you say.
It depends on where you're from.
I guess the Pope has already ruled on that, so it's.
Yeah, but if you're Mexican, it's a different story.
Well, think about the fact that Ireland is just recently trying to legalize abortion.
Right.
And it's fucking 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also countries in South America are working to legalize abortion too.
Yeah.
It's taken this long because of Catholicism.
Yeah.
So to say that I'm only culturally Catholic, I think it's easier to do that in the United States than in other countries where that religion is more ingrained into the culture and more absorbed into the belief system of the people of those cultures.
It does happen. And I guarantee that a lot of people's beliefs are influenced by those cultural beliefs, or by their family's beliefs too. They just go along with it because they think they don't think about it. I don't know. It does happen.
But
I just
feel like once again, the straw man of.
Okay.
I hold theistic or religious beliefs because if I didn't hold.
That's probably not the average person. Yeah. Go ahead. You're right. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a straw man.
Yeah.
To say that the majority of interlocutors interviewed in street epistemology are rationalizing that I choose theistic or religious beliefs or supernatural beliefs in my life because to not do so would cause social isolation for me. That's the straw man that he has created right there in that segment. Right. Saying that it's a socially accepted thing and therefore they're ignorant and low-hanging fruit because they only have these beliefs to be socially accepted.
Well, I think he's under this impression that street epistemologists target a certain type of person, and
no,
that's
they
not
let
true at
people
all.
Choose to talk to them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. We talk to anyone.
And how many enthusiastically religious people take the challenge?
A lot of them. Those are the ones that are most likely to take the challenge.
And diligently studying and being in Bible study and going to church and doing all that.
Because they're so encouraged to go out there and be public about their beliefs. But then when they're actually challenged, that house of cards comes tumbling down.
Yeah.
And it only takes, you pull one card out. That's all you need to do.
Well, I mean, like I said, I really equate that to my journey toward, a lack of belief in gods and the supernatural.
Exactly. We used to be hardcore believers.
Everything that I value, I still am able to value without my God belief. Love, honesty, the beauty of the world that we live in, and the amazingness of life that we live.
Yeah.
And getting to learn about how all that shit works. I love it. I'm a teacher so I can learn shit. Because I have to learn shit so I can teach it.
Yeah. It's fun to teach what you know.
Well, it's fun to learn shit and then explore shit with people and try and learn it together, too. To say, let's learn about this, let's figure this out, or figure out what we've figured out about this.
Yeah.
And it's cool to have the tools to do that these days.
All right, let's continue here for a minute. Let's see how far we get.
Bible sitting on the coffee table, but they've probably never read it. They might go to church once or twice a year, but they've got no real commitment to their religion. And in a lot of the videos on Anthony's channel, the people he's talking to had a very hard time articulating what they believed or why they believed it. So these people are really easy to go after. And for those people who believe primarily for social reasons, it's very easy to see them subconsciously shifting their views when they encounter someone who clearly doesn't agree with their beliefs. Wait, you don't believe that? Well, maybe I don't either.
Well, that's your mistake, because straight epistemology isn't about telling the other person that you disagree with them. You take a neutral position. You're viewing this the whole wrong way.
Once again, I don't think this person has really actually read the book, Pete's book.
Or understands what the Socratic method is
in the
about.
fact that it advocates that you have a purely Socratic role in this self-reflective conversation.
You take a neutral position.
Yeah.
So, no, we're not trying to deconvert. We're trying to help them reflect on their own reasoning. It's like you're completely off, man.
The straw man about this socially accepted mentality.
It's not about that at all.
I don't see that playing out at all.
Yeah,
it's a part of who these people are.
There's no correlation there. Okay.
It's not just a fear of social isolation.
Right. No, it's not about that at all. We're not trying to
Those
manipulate
beliefs
people.
are not held for those reasons by the interlocutors.
No, they're the reason. Yeah, no, definitely not. When you get down to it, it's about I was raised this way and I believe it based on faith.
And I've never had to think about it in any other different context.
Exactly. I've never examined it.
I've never been asked to think about the actual ins and outs.
I've never been asked the outsider's test of faith before.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, pretty much. Go up to people, ask them the outsider's test of faith.
Yeah.
And watch them try and explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Justify it to themselves. You don't do anything. You just help them self-evaluate. And you help them, maybe lead them in a direction so you keep them on the subject. But you don't really, you're not trying to draw a specific conclusion out or anything like that. If they leave the conversation more confident in their belief than when you started the conversation, that's acceptable too.
And once again, I don't think you admitted to watching half a dozen of these videos.
You're right.
And now you're talking about a lot of them do XYZ. I'm pretty sure that Anthony has significantly more than 6 videos posted, let alone all the other amazing street epistemologists around the world.
At least, of videos
Yeah.
out there of SE. There's many more people that do it too.
And so, I mean, you are the one.
Small sample size,
that
biased
has
view
plucked
already.
one low-hanging fruit.
Well, I think that he already had a biased view of it. He just wanted to take it down a notch.
Once
I
again,
don't understand, but because you want to criticize something that is apparently, I don't know maybe it's popular to criticize at this point.
And I mean, if you're truly honest, there's plenty of people who have honestly said, street epistemology doesn't work for me as an approach. Yeah. And that's fine. Yeah. And that's not a fucking reason to criticize it.
No. Most people that understand it are like, I think it's awesome. I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. It just doesn't work with my personality and my approach.
You know what, though? Street epistemology it helped me self-evaluate.
Yes.
Myself. And it turned me into... it helped me be a more reasonable person, I would say. I use more reason and rational thought than I ever did before, because I'm constantly challenging myself at the same time. Because it's about self-reflection.
Yeah.
And part of street epistemology is teaching others to self-reflect on what they believe. It's teaching others to think critically. Just, you know what I mean?
It's helping others, but you should also do that yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's about improving yourself and others around you. Yeah. I think of it as kind of like martial arts. It's kind of the same way. I don't look at martial arts as a way to go out there and hurt people. It's self-defense. So you're helping, you want to heal yourself, help yourself, and you're helping others help themselves around you.
Yeah.
And it's spreading that. And if you can get enough people doing that, you can make an impact on the world, whether you realize it or not. If you get enough people, it spreads like wildfire. That's the whole point of street epistemology. It's not about deconverting anyone. It's about...
Once again, it's just about honest conversation.
Honest conversation.
Honest conversation and dialogue about what matters, which once again is critical thinking and encouraging the practice and its application to huge facets of life.
Reality.
Yes, to reality. Once again, you say that the people that street epistemologists talk to have no power and aren't the extremists blowing shit up. Well, you know what? They fucking vote.
Yeah.
They vote, and that vote affects me in my life.
And if we have 10,000 street epistemologists out there in the U.S., that's going to affect the vote more than going after this the big name apologists. Yeah, exactly. Which is what seems to be the criticism in this video. No, we need to tackle these people. No, there are people that already do that. What we're trying to do is deal with the day-to-day person.
Well,
the person that's in your life, your family members, your friends,
members.
Your community.
Yeah.
You're at the grocery store. Someone picks up the Inquirer. That's your perfect opportunity to be like, you're not superstitious, are you? You know what I mean? Just ask them a simple question. Are you superstitious?
Or even something like, is this entertaining to you?
Or yeah, exactly.
Because it's entertaining to me.
Whenever someone's like, oh, this number means this or this to me, it's like, anytime anyone says something superstitious around me, that's when I use street epistemology on my daily life. And I don't go up to people and be like, do you believe in God? How do you know that it's true? You know? How do you know that that's true?
What do you have in your
God?
I
don't do that. No. And I would, maybe if someone picked up a penny, they would be like, well, how confident are you that that's actually going to give you luck? As opposed to just believe that for the sake of believing it. It's just a placebo effect, you know?
Do you want to listen to more of his straw man?
We can try.
Defense mechanism. They're fishing for social acceptance, even from the stranger that they just met on the street. And 5 minutes after they talk to the street epistemologist, if they came across a strong theist, they're going to be going, well, of course I have no doubts. I've never had any doubts. For these people, it isn't about the belief, it's about the...
That's exactly what that is.
I don't think it's social acceptance, it's... Well, I mean, okay, so like a politeness theory in sociology and pragmatics and linguistic apply here. In that, you want to reflect back to the person you're having a conversation with, kind of match their energy and like vibe in a way.
Well, I would call it a intellectual charity. You know what I mean?
Well, and I mean, once again, it's like the thinking doesn't really happen that immediately in street epistemology.
No, you're just trying to. You're just throwing
once again, it's
putting
like
a pebble in the shoe.
you put the pebble in the shoe.
That's all you're trying to do.
And Anthony, once again, has a lot of evidence to show. If he shares, he's like, this person emailed me 6 weeks later and was like, I'm still thinking about this conversation I had with you. But they're not thinking about the conversation they had with their preacher and how they worshipped and felt like connected,
or anyone arguing with him on YouTube about it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, no, you're fucking wrong. Bullshit. The Bible says this and I know it's true because blah, 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 blah.
Well,
and they'll they'll reason that self in their own head. They will reason it. Whether you can affect it or not, the whole point is to get them to think about it rather than arguing with them.
There's a lot of...
Because that's where the disconnect comes with the mind.
Well, there's a lot of street epistemologists who work through Facebook comments and other things, and a lot of times the conversations do stop at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then maybe continue later, or once again, they go back to the street epistemologist goes back to the community and says, "Hey, how do I pick up this conversation? Where do I go from here?"
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, I failed so many times. But for every failure, I think there's a success too.
Well, and I mean, in an online written context, it's a lot harder, or it's a lot easier to be dishonest.
I think people aren't as honest when they're just... If you're in person, it's a lot different. Yeah. For sure.
You're gonna be more emotionally
Well, because the other person's looking at your face, reading your face, and they know that too. Then and that's why maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the disconnect that this guy's having. Is he's like, usually I'm used to dealing with people not directly. It's like, I just want to be an asshole on the internet to them.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's kind of what it seems like. Sorry, bitch slap blogs, but
that they get from
kind of an asshole.
People about the belief. And in the West, I think these people make up the vast majority of supposed theists. People who are doing what they think they're supposed to be doing without having the slightest clue what that actually is. Personally, I think that once being religious stops being seen as an automatically good thing, the vast majority of these people will stop caring about professing belief. If it suddenly became socially preferable to be an atheist tomorrow, 75% of the population would say they were atheists. They'd be like rats fleeing a sinking ship. So I think these are entirely the wrong people to go after, because in the end,
and therefore
they're not the problem. Now, I had someone disagree with me and say that these people can indoctrinate their children into religion, so they are a valid target. But honestly, the children of vaguely religious people tend not to be more than vaguely religious themselves.
Where's this data?
Yeah, where's this data coming from? That's what I'm wondering too. Yeah. You're just asserting shit at this point.
Because the number of the non-religious has increased, you can make this generalization without any kind of evidence.
I know what.
Do you know that some kids of very weakly religious parents become more religious?
All the time. All the fucking time.
Because they don't want to end up like their parents and their family.
Yeah, exactly.
The youth of the religious are not any more likely to be religious. In fact, they're probably more likely to reject it. So I find that to be a pretty poor argument.
No, there's just assertions.
No, the people that I think we need to go after are the ones who really take it seriously. The ones who actually cause
these people are way more of a joke to me than religious.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. The Westboro Baptist Church defeat themselves.
Yeah.
They're creating more atheists than anyone. Those aren't the people we need to go after. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? What planet are you on?
What pisses me off are freaking religious people who have governmental positions in education that advocate abstinence education for teenagers. That's a threat to me, not these fucking clowns.
Not the Westboro Baptist Church.
Dude, no mainstream Christian who truly has a strong God belief advocates any of this.
We don't need to go after them.
No.
What's her name's daughter did it for us.
Yeah.
She's an open atheist.
Yeah. Dude, this is like old news.
Yeah. It's like, what year are you living in, man?
Yeah.
Those are not the people that street epistemologists go after.
You're wrong, dude. We go after it's not going after anyone. We're not going after people.
We're inviting people to have a conversation. And these people have had plenty of interviews.
We don't target any specific person or type of person. It works with everyday conversations. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but it's like anytime anyone says something superstitious or anything like that.
I am not threatened by these people whatsoever.
Nobody's threatened by the Westboro Baptist Church.
Ignorant people who grew up in the church who vote for fucking Donald Trump.
Yep. Those are the people that are the threat. The real threat.
Those are the people who threaten.
Today, they're not going to admit that they have doubts after tender prodding. Because these people are the people
are doxastically closed, which is described in the book.
They probably understand why. Now, those reasons are probably terrible.
Is it not?
But they aren't going to fall apart because someone gives them a sideways glance. And because it's hard work to go after these people, if it's even possible to get the slightest crack in their theological armor at all, the atheist doesn't get the fast and constant emotional reinforcement that they're actually accomplishing something. So most of them...
You think he doesn't understand the definition of...
Doxastic closedness?
Yeah.
Or open? Doxastically closed or open?
It means you're closed off to new information or ideas.
Yeah. That's outlined and addressed in the manual for creating atheists. And those are actually psychologically defined terms that can be like actually measured. It's a construct that you can look at within someone's psyche.
Well, I think it's like what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I think before we started recording, we were saying that SE was developed in a prison working with violent offenders.
Yes.
Originally.
Yes.
These are people that are extremely closed off to outside information generally.
And lived in a very closely, like, culturally kind of like constrictive environment where they weren't exposed to a variety of...
And so what happens is if you give them facts, you get the backfire effect instantly. If you say, no, you're wrong, they're going to rebel. They're going to shut down. Their mind's not going to hear anything else you have to say. So the only way to get them to think is to make them do that on their own. To help them, at least. At least try and lead them to the water. They get to choose whether they want to think or not. But I think most people, if you ask them to think about what they believe in an open, honest way, in a genuine way, they are genuinely willing to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Not always. Some people are like, no, I don't want to think about that. That's clearly a sin to question my beliefs.
I believe what I believe, I believe.
Yeah, and those people, that isn't going to work on them.
Thank you very much for talking with me about your beliefs and have a good day.
Well, I would just say, hopefully, I think that you're maybe mistaken about not questioning your beliefs. And just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And say, nice to meet you. Have a good day.
Exactly.
And let them think about that. Just say what you think, and don't pussyfoot around. Because the whole method isn't. We're not targeting certain people. Yeah, certain conversations end because certain people aren't open to the process, or certain people are maybe obviously like psychologically ill or something like that, and then in those cases you end the conversation as soon as possible. Generally, you don't try to ask them Socratic questions. You're not trying to challenge their belief anymore at that point. You might want to talk about something different, or maybe just talk about what you're doing in general, what the whole point of street epistemology is. Because I think maybe that's something that the guy that's made this video should hear, is like, what would you say is the point of street epistemology, Julie?
Well, I think it's to engage someone in a conversation with the goal of raising other ways of conceptualizing and critically thinking about the beliefs that you hold. But and just self-reflection.
Yeah.
Like a guided self-reflection, which everyone needs and can benefit from.
And I think in that sense, I'm a lot less angry than I used to be since I started practicing street epistemology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't argue with people as much at all. I found a method that I can help. I try to reason with people rather than argue with them.
Yes, which is more fulfilling.
Yeah, and effective.
I think it also helps you stay, calm and honest as well.
Yeah. It's not about me feeling better at that point either. It actually is more effective. I personally...
The fact that you've hopefully helped another person explore something and possibly putting that pebble in the shoe should be rewarding feeling.
Well, sure, there is that aspect to it. Let's be honest. Yeah, there is a self-reward. Sure.
But that's not the goal.
That is not the goal. No. It's just a byproduct. It's just something that...
You're a curious, interested person who wants reality, who wants to see more people accept reality for what it is.
Yeah. I want to have more genuine friends. Friends that believe in reality, accept reality for what it is.
And that have values that also kind of match my values, which I feel are...
Based in reality?
Yes.
And a lot of people, I feel like their values aren't based in reality.
No. And their values make them feel superior to other groups of people, which somehow validates and elevates them as people.
So if I can encourage my friends to have open, honest conversations with me, I'm going to have better relationships with them. Mm-hmm. Honestly, what brought me to street epistemology was the fact that I didn't know how to handle family members and stuff like that, directly. How to deal with it personally as well as dealing with them. So I didn't know how to approach people at all. I had no method other than to just kind of try and argue with them. And
try and present evidence which which just caused
I found out, guess what? If you just present facts, it doesn't work.
No, it backfires.
Yeah. People don't like facts. They hate them. You have to make them go research that shit on their own.
Yeah.
I'm not doing your homework for you, and you have to tell people that.
I did my homework for myself.
Yeah. Here's what you need to do. Go do your own homework.
Yeah. Go ask this question and see what you find, what you come back with.
That's all we're encouraging.
Yeah.
Do your own homework.
Participation in, reality.
Stop relying on your pastor to give you the answers, because those are not answers.
Stop relying on pretending to make you feel better about yourself.
Right.
Give up in very short order. And that's not insulting atheists, because the very same thing is true of the religious. The religious really don't want to talk to atheists who know a lot about their religion, or who know a lot about science, or who know a lot about philosophy. They want to talk to the stupid people, the people who are very easy to convince with very poor arguments. So I'm not trying to insult anybody here. I'm just saying this is basic human nature.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. In the book, it says we're targeting people that believe in propositions that they believe with 100% accuracy, right? Confidence or accuracy, yeah.
Well, accuracy is not confidence.
Well, I mean, that's
confidence.
Accuracy, yeah. Okay. Accurate. If you believe your belief
If
is
you have
100% accurate and true.
You're confident that it is 100%
Yeah, if you're 100% accurate
true.
and true is what I'm saying.
You're confident that it is.
Yeah. That is what the actual...
A level of confidence is different than knowledge, right?
Yes. But I think he's mistaking the two there.
Okay.
That's where his mistake is. You know what I mean? Am I wrong about that?
No.
So please, I'm not saying don't do nature.
Do you want me to go back or something?
No.
I'm going to have to edit this part.
So please, I'm not saying don't do it. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out.
Just let it go.
I'm just saying that the advocates of the street epistemology system need to stop pretending that they're doing search and rescue when they're really just doing the equivalent of helping little old ladies across the street.
Dude.
I don't think anyone who's been positively affected by street epistemology would say they felt like a little old lady helped across the street.
No.
That's not very... You're trying to say you're not trying to offend people, but...
Jesus, dude. Fucking...
Why would you...
What the fuck, dude?
That's someone's personal journey and experience. Into reality.
I'm not trying to insult you, but, you know.
But I'm going to say something super insulting now since I've qualified it with that statement.
A place for that, don't get me wrong. But at least be honest about what you're doing and stop acting like you're changing the world.
Why isn't it okay to have that kind of enthusiasm?
Look. I'm just trying to do my part, man. I'm not acting like I'm changing the world. I'm just doing all that I can by using strict epistemology. I'm just trying to influence as many people as possible.
Well, once again, it's about almost like a lifestyle mentality, preparing yourself for opportunities to be able to talk to people and engage them in a real and meaningful way.
Yeah, exactly. It's about being honest with people and about having open, honest conversations.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And, I mean, Peter Boghossian does try and hype it up to make it feel like it's powerful and stuff.
But I feel like...
But he does that in order to encourage more people to join reality and for people to help people.
It doesn't have to be so blown out of proportion. The funny thing is like, I used to be like really hardcore about it, but then I kind of backed off and I just use it like very subtly.
When has Anthony ever said he's changing the world with his videos?
Never.
What street epistemologist is making this claim?
I think maybe Peter in his book kind of made that claim.
Well, because he wants
that. He wants it to take off.
He feels that that's a meaningful way for people to engage in general.
And you know what the funny thing is? It is taking off.
Yeah. He's
Guess
excited about it.
Guess what, dude? This shit's happening. Yeah, we've talked to Peter.
I've talked to him.
Yeah. He's excited.
A fundamentalist Christian would eat these weekend warriors for breakfast. And maybe that happens, I don't know. See, the only videos that we're likely to see online, either on Anthony's channel or elsewhere, are likely the wins and not the losses. They're likely the ones that show the system working and not showing it falling apart.
No, dude. This is another criticism I had for you, and if you go and actually watch his videos, go watch his very first videos, man.
More than 6.
There's tons of failures, and a lot of the videos, type in failure in Anthony's channel, and I bet you get over a dozen videos.
And there's also a dozen videos after that where he's like, please help me do this better. Please watch this and give me feedback.
When we do something that fails, we'll post it because we want to know where we fucked up and we want to get the feedback of how we fucking...
How we could have approached it more effectively.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, dude, you're mistaken once again.
Anyone is being dishonest here. It's just basic human nature to present the best examples and subconsciously ignore the worst ones, especially when you have a book to sell.
Basic human nature is a...
Anthony doesn't have a book to sell. Anthony's not trying to fucking make money off of this. This was just happened by circumstance.
And because people are demanding more information, and he's one who's willing to disseminate that information.
Anthony's just an awesome guy that happened to... He just took up the mantle, kind of. He's not, like, trying to get rich off of it.
No.
He's a stay-at-home dad. With a hobby.
Who also volunteers and has built, like, 20 ramps all around San Antonio, Texas for
awesome.
People who need them.
Love him.
I could be wrong. Maybe it always works. Maybe there has never once been a time when a believer has walked away from a conversation without
no one's saying it's 100%
honestly
effective.
admitting, not just saying it to escape or for social reasons, that they aren't as strong in their beliefs and in their faith as they thought they were. Maybe that happens. But I will be honest, I haven't seen it work on someone like William Lane Craig. I haven't seen it work on someone like Ken Ham.
Because you don't know what doxaxically closed mentalities mean. It means either one, they're doxaxically closed, or number two, they're giant charlatans.
Exactly.
They're con men who will never reveal their con. They're still profiting off that shit.
Anderson or Frank Turek or any other kind of super faithful, evangelical, fanatical theist. And those are the people that we need to deconvert.
Dude, they are
those
either
are the
true
people
believers
who are
or
killing their kids with
all
faith-giving nonsense.
Those
are the ones
I know
that
exactly
are
what you're
strapping
saying.
on bomb vests and murdering heathens. Those are the ones who are campaigning against equal rights and equal treatment for all. Those are the problems, and so long as those are the problems, those are the people that we need to be concerned with.
The people listening to this campaigning are the ones who are fucking us over, not the campaigners.
I know, that's what I tried to say.
The people who are listening to the campaigning and voting
for
fucking Donald Trump and other assholes.
Yep.
Like that fucking Georgia State representative, dude.
But I've got the larger picture in mind.
No,
I don't really care about a world without vague, pseudo-religious, socially conscious, barely theists who will go whichever way the wind blows. They will come over to our side when the time is right anyhow. I care about the vocal idiots who get on TV and say, let's murder the heretics, the ones who want to throw gays off roofs or deny them basic human rights. Those are the people we need to go after.
I will fight for those idiots to come on TV and say their stupid shit.
You should be proud of yourself. I'm not saying to ignore the small fry, but we need to set our sights higher. Humanity deserves better than settling for the lowest.
So why are you attacking extreme epistemology and not attacking all of these higher people?
Well, no, I think your criticism is misguided here because, dude, the more people you convince of something, the more likely other people are going to be convinced that way too. I'm going to get over it. That's how I'm going to end this. The nice part.
That sounds great. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's like, once again, it's like those high-hanging fruit. Apparently, there's so many low-hanging fruits. And they're the ones who are voting. And those are the ones that are actually instigating the policy changes that those jackasses you want us to go against are fighting.
Name the high-hanging fruit, and I'll go after it. I don't know. Like, what do you want, dude? Like, I will go directly onto religious people's YouTube channels and comment directly to them and Socratically question them.
So we need to go to Joel Osteen's megachurch and just start, like,
protesting? I don't know. How's that going to be effective? It doesn't work, dude. What works is actually talking to people like real people. Saying your coworkers, average Joe, the person, your coworkers, the people you're in line with at the grocery store.
Like I said,
those are the people you should be engaging with.
Yeah.
That's what street epistemology is for. Mm-hmm. And guess what? It works. It's way more effective. Okay, look, I'm not going to say it's more effective. It's more effective on an individual basis.
Dude.
Criticism works on a large scale. I agree.
Those high-hanging fruit are way too comfortable in the career and message and fucking life that
How many of those motherfuckers have been exposed publicly, yet still are in the business? They're going to jail for that shit.
Our president grabs pussies, and he's fucking president.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you. Check you later. Say goodbye, Julie.
Bye, Julie.
No, say goodbye to everyone else.
Goodbye, everyone else.
Okay, bye.